Hi. Thank you, Honorable Chair and committee members. Thank you for hearing us today, and I am grateful you're hearing this again alongside last week's extremely similar bill. I'm Tess Ulrey. I'm the Executive Director for the Coalition for Responsible Home Education. We are a homeschool alumni founded and powered organization, and we work across policy, advocacy, and programs to empower homeschooled children. We were once those homeschooled children ourselves, and bills like this are extremely important to us for three reasons. We're requesting a favorable report on HB1528 for three reasons. First, we can universally agree that extracurriculars are a positive thing for children. Whether we're talking about positive self-image, about confidence, about connection, or even college access, we know that children, no matter their education modality, benefit from extracurricular activities. Secondarily, participation in these organized sports increases children's access to safe adults. For so many people, we had a coach, we had a teacher, we had somebody in our lives that was impactful in many, many ways. For homeschooled children, these connections can be a little bit trickier to find, and so I think it's important for the Legislature of Maryland to consider a favorable report here to open up some of that access for them as well. Third, the majority of homeschooling associations and co-ops are actually religious-based organizations. That is not a bad thing by any way, shape, or form, but as more children are being homeschooled from a secular component, the public schools are going to be an incredible resource to them as well. Additionally, with this bill, having each school system decide if this works for them is incredibly powerful. Every homeschooled family in the state of Maryland decides if homeschooling works for them. Every school district in the state of Maryland will decide if this works for them. I think this will give the state of Maryland a wonderful way to look at how to even increase this access later, but this is a great way to start. I encourage a favorable report. Thank you. How do we do it? Okay. We're all excited to talk.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and esteemed committee members. Lovely to see you all again. My name is Jonah Stewart, and I oversee research for CRHE. And as Tess outlined, our organization enthusiastically supports HB 1528. Investing in homeschooled kids is increasingly crucial for equipping the next generation for success. Homeschooling has surged in popularity in Maryland, and we believe it is in the state's interest to authorize extracurricular access for this rapidly growing population, especially when extracurriculars open doors to accessing and financing higher education and other opportunities that may otherwise be infeasible for many families. Since more families from under-resourced socioeconomic backgrounds are homeschooling at rapid rates, equal participation promotes equity and opportunity. I'll also note that if we assume equal participation rates, which is likely an enormous overestimate, then it would cost all districts about $4.4 million annually to fund homeschool participation, which is about 0.026% of aggregate district budgets. As I said, the number is likely far smaller. We also want to raise that equal participation can reinforce the well-being of vulnerable kids. Homeschooling is often wonderful, as we no doubt see here, and we saw in the previous hearing. But for some homeschooling families, there is an outsized risk for social isolation, which can lead to poor outcomes. Compounding this, research convincingly shows that a large segment of the homeschooling community reports wariness towards schools and state resources writ large. But homeschooling parents largely endorse extracurricular access. Opening participation, therefore, can build trust between homeschooling communities and schools, which ensures vulnerable kids have support. Investing in inclusion pays massive dividends for everyone. For all of these reasons, I respectfully urge a favorable report. Thank you so much.